Hello there, you Christmas crackers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Tim Senna, and after my last collaboration with the wonderful Abby Westance, I've realised that the north of England exists, and whilst some people from London may think that Birmingham is in the north, that is not the case. So I am on an unstoppable mission to champion bands from that wonderful part of the country. My dad was actually born in a wonderful part of Manchester, Greater Manchester, called Earlham, so it's all love. But we're going, I think, even further north with this one. I'm so delighted to say, on the Zoom call right now, we have Mr. Lee Hawthorn from all sorts of Northern BBC introducings, right, Lee?
North East Tees, West Yorkshire at the minute. So, yeah.
And literally, we talk on Twitter all the time about new music, and I love the kind of passion you have for everything happening around the Toon and Moor. Like, how would you characterise the scene to someone who doesn't know about it? It seems like it's flourishing right now.
Yeah, it's an odd place at the minute where actually it's like really diverse and in ways in which I wouldn't expect as well myself. Where kind of obviously Sam Fender is the name.
We're gonna have like a Sam Fender swear jar for this episode because he is like the all-encompassing, supermassive black hole of an artist from Newcastle. But you know, we have to pay homage, sacrifice our goat to Sam Fender because he is the Newcastle goat.
Yeah. But what people kind of don't realise is how like big like the dance scene in the North East is. Yeah. So Sam Fender being from North Shield, which is about like 10 minutes from where I am at the minute.
Yeah.
In the same like sort of area is Patrick Toppin, who's a massive DJ.
Yeah.
Got kind of Elliot Adamson kind of on the rise, Sorley from Sunderland. So there's all sorts of like dance stuff. There's kind of other indie bands coming through. There's some like really cool like hip hop stuff, which I've been like championing for years.
Yeah, because hip hop's your jam, isn't it? That's kind of your favourite genre, from what I gather.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of changing a little bit at the minute where I'm actually kind of going a bit more R&B. There's a lot of kind of pop stuff that's kind of really exciting us. But for the last sort of, 8 years, I've been kind of championing hip hop generally, and then the last sort of 5 within the North East, I kind of found the scene in like 2013, so 7 years ago. And yeah, like really exciting, some amazing artists.
Let's dive on with it. 5 brand new artists you need to hear from. What region should I say? Is it Newcastle? Is it Teesside?
Northeast is
Northeast.
Kind of
5 artists you must know from the Northeast. Also, it's actually Christmas. I don't know if you knew, so I'm gonna try and get like, maybe it's too early, but I think we need it. This hat is too small for me.
Yeah.
You
I didn't have that, unfortunately. I wasn't prepared.
Are you feeling festively?
Not quite yet. I've been watching a few Christmas films, to be fair. My mum is like watching all of the Christmas films on Netflix at the minute.
Perfect.
And I catch a few of them, but not quite yet. Not quite.
Well, let's get on with it then. We've got the first track from a band I actually know a little bit of, ZELA. Run me through this one. I'm so hyped for it.
Yeah, ZELA are like a kind of brand new act, and you wouldn't believe that from their sound because it's so kind of polished and smooth and amazing. They've kind of put 5 singles out this year, and it was their second one that kind of really blew everybody away. I think Sleep Real Bad. For me, it's the best song of the year from anybody anywhere in the world. Never mind up and coming, never mind just from the north, like in the world.
That's
like,
the energy we need.
Amazing, like pop single that is just like the chorus is like undeniable, is how I would describe it. Like nobody could listen to this song and not think that it should be all over Radio 1, should be all over Spotify editorial, all of that stuff. Like it's amazing. I'm
loving that energy. Let's hear it. Sleep Real Bad, ZELA, on my YouTube channel, not a radio station. It's really weird. I'm like, introduce the song like it's radio. Wheel up, wheel up. Oh, mate. Nah, I think ZELA was a bit of a cheat for me because you always are a legend and kind of tune into my Instagram lives and you put ZELA on one of them. They have kind of like that incredible level of production that, as you say, you could bump it right now, daytime Radio 1, and no one's batting an eyelid. No one's saying, oh, that shouldn't belong there.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is they actually haven't had a single play anywhere on Radio 1 yet, which is criminal.
Sort it out, Hugh Stevens or what's the new girl's name? Gemma Bradley. Sort it out. She's taking the reins, and ZELA, like, they need that Radio 1 spin.
I imagine it, like I said, it's undeniable, so I imagine it's only a matter of time. I think a few of the producers have heard it, and maybe, you know, timing and all that is obviously a massive thing. Yeah. I think, like, as soon as, like, they hear it in the right setting or whatever, like, it's...
Exactly. And I've got to say a big shout out as well to a band called Lissio, who are from Birmingham, because I feel like ZELA are the Northeast Lissio, or Lissio are the Midlands ZELA, because they have that kind of synth pop, real incredible production, a mad, powerful female vocal. Lissio program their own software to perform live. So Lissio and ZELA link up, have a baby. And thank you, Lee, for the first pick. 1,000,000 out of 10. What have we got next?
We'll have a band that I have been calling the best band in Newcastle for a few years.
Ooh, okay.
And they're definitely the best live band that I've seen.
Yeah.
And they just blew me away. I took my dad to one of their gigs last year, it must have been now, because there's been no gigs really this year.
Yeah.
And they were meant to be playing a gig, I think, this weekend, maybe, but obviously it got cancelled for lockdown too. And they're just amazing. They're kind of changing their sound a bit with this one that I'm about to play, called Relax, which is produced by Barry Hyde from the Futureheads.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Swine, Tax and Relax, which just rolls off the tongue like beautifully linguistic sounds. Let's hear it. Here we go.
1 week of hardly sleeping, 2 weeks of feeling sad. She comes up for the weekend, soon things get out of hand. Our college trip, my stomach's flip, this city's looking fit. It feels good to lose yourself, doesn't it? That's it, with our eyes in the dark like dynamite. Words in my head that I can't come by. Weightless trainers on my feet, endless rave with an old school beat. Zombie nation, why don't you haste in the place, yes, boom, boom, boom. We stagger upstairs and the world goes wild. Where's my precious time? God, relax, relax, we'll be alright. That's it, relax, relax, and dance all night. That's it, this way, that way, on, down, down. That's it, relax, relax, we'll be alright. How's it healing?
Hey. Oh, it's so like catchy and rocky, and I feel it's always really lazy to compare bands to Arctic Monkeys, but it does feel they have that kind of early, riffy kind of tongue-in-cheek catchiness to them.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like I was saying, like that song isn't actually really a fair reflection of Swine Tax, because you would never compare them to Arctic Monkeys. Like, if you knew that,
it's probably just me being really bad with like comparisons that are way off. But
I think this is kind of the reason why I picked this song rather than picking an older one, which I have done for some of the other acts, is that it's a really good tune for them to be out right now, I think, because they've got a load of like more grungy kind of almost Idols kind of styles.
Yeah, it's really kind of like an in sound right now, like kind of heavier, almost like post-punky stuff. A really good band called The Novus from Birmingham, who everyone should check out. They're doing sick things. And they did a DIY social distance gig as well. So.
Yeah, and that's like the DIY thing is what Swine Tax are all about.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like Brexit and the pandemic has kind of got in the way of it, but they were meant to be like touring Europe.
And as we know, because we both work for the BBC, we don't have opinions on Brexit. We just like ask us something political, anything, and we're like, no views.
But yeah, they were meant to tour Europe and whatnot, and obviously they couldn't.
Yeah.
They're actually, I think they're going to be one of them bands who they're probably never going to get played on Radio 1, which is a bit of a shame. But but they will be like one of those bands that like everybody knows are amazing, that do know who they are.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do great things in kind of underground scenes, and Netherlands people love them. And
That's awesome.
Like they're, for me, if you were going to check any band out in the Northeast, it would be Swine Tax.
Definitely. I hope you'd echo this, but for me and you, obviously we both work for BBC Introducing, but I would say for new bands, radio play is anything but the be all and end all. Like, I think a lot of bands get really caught up thinking we can only be successful and go to that next level if we get that playlist spot on Radio 1. But actually, if you look at so many of the bands who've got there and done it, it's much more important to find a way to engage with a new audience and grow your fan base, and radio is actually one of the ways to do that. It's not like the only way you can grow as a band.
Yeah, I went to a talk that Tom Robinson did, and he was saying that every kind of band always says that their goals like to play Glastonbury, to get Radio 1 playlist and all this sort of thing, and that should never be it. those should be tools that you get the goals that you actually should aspire for, which is, you know, you face 100 fans, face 1,000 fans, 10,000, whatever. And yeah, like, as much as radio play is obviously great, festival play, like bookings are obviously great, it's all about connecting with an audience, and then those things will come anyway.
Exactly. Absolute preach there. Right, next artist, 2 down, 3 to go. I love this one. There's a nice Northeast Birmingham link, because Bad Mind, awesome rapper from what I heard, and she did a one-shot video walking along a road, which gave me mad Lazy Leisure vibes. 0-1 to the 2-1, forever. So yeah, how much do you know about her? I love that link.
It's mad that you say she's a rapper, because she's not really
a rapper. Just
yeah. But it is that kind of R&B pop, and they're definitely kind of inspired by like Russ, who was a rapper. Kalani and Russ at the minute are like my 2 favourite kind of international artists, and it's amazing that so it's not just her, it's they've just got a drummer and producer, Jamie, and then Dana is like a singer, and there used to be a band called Soshi, where there was a guitarist with them as well, and they've just rebranded as Bad Mind. There's just the 2 of them now. They were actually the last gig that I went to see before this lockdown. I said that about Phil Flag. So it was actually, Phil Flag was the second last one.
Well, there you go. Lots of gigs.
So I've seen them play like gigs before when they were Sochi, and they were amazing. They had like a song with Cadet before he died.
Oh, of course, yeah. Rest in peace.
Obviously really sad and whatnot, but like that song was amazing. And had they like really pushed it, I think it would have been like all over the place. And that's also how I feel about this new project with Bad Mind. Heartless, and for me, is like their best song, but they've also kind of got With Me, which is kind of doing loads of streaming on Spotify. Clear has got Mackenzie Solomon, who's kind of a big deal in like America with like Disney audiences and stuff. And they've really kind of got their head screwed on, and I think 2021 is going to be the year for Bad Mind.
So Bad Mind's actually like a group, is it? And the video I was watching, she's like the lead singer, I guess.
Yeah, so
it was very like R&B, like you say, Kalani kind of, that new sound. You've got a lot of people like Mahalia kind of redefining what's on your One Extra Radio 1 playlist.
Yeah, and they're just amazing, and I've seen them like perform loads, so I know that like they've got it, and they're just like, it's just a matter of time again. It's kind of similar to ZELA, where ZELA are already kind of there. Bad Mind are a step or 2 behind, but they're going to get there.
Sick. Let's hear it. Heartless.
Let's go.
So solid.
I tell myself that I don't want it. I don't know why you let me fall in. How'd you get so heartless? Should've never put my all in. How'd you get so heartless? Should've never put my all in. Look at what you started. I'm drinking till the morning. Should've never put my all in. How'd you get so heartless?
I got so excited I knocked my hat off by mistake. Yeah, you're totally right, man. That's another one you can file into the category of like, could be on the Radio 1 playlist tomorrow. And I'm so glad you corrected me when I accidentally said rapper, because I was thinking about, you know, the one-shot video and the comparison to Lady Leisure, because listening to it like the second time, it almost feels more like a Dua Lipa type track or something in the pop realms, with obviously the R&B influences as well.
Yeah. I hadn't like thought about that before, but yeah, I think like there definitely is that sort of, obviously they kind of come from the Kalani and then trap sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but I think there is kind of that sensibility of like a just out and out Dua Lipa pop star thing as well. They could definitely have the capability to do that. Yeah,
definitely. So big up Bad Mind, expecting big things. Artist number 4. This is iconic, and I think mental health and music. It's something that I think I've seen you talk about on Twitter and be amazingly open about. And the impression I got from my first listen to Die Alone, it's very much a case of, especially as a man, being very frank and honest about feeling low emotions and feeling depression.
Yeah, it's really kind of an odd thing with Iconic, because up until the album they just released, which Die Alone is from, DNR, he was very much known as like a grime MC. He has like the biggest grime anthem spit one lyric. That is kind of, if you were to go to like a Northeast gig of like hip hop, grime, anything within that realm, and you play spit one lyric, the place goes wild.
Yeah.
But he always has kind of done the kind of Mac Miller, Loyal Corner kind of hip hop stuff as well. And then he sent us Die Alone like 2.5 years ago. And it was in a really kind of rough demo form. It was, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is the one. Like, there's a I could hang myself from your expectations is like a lyric.
What a line,
just,
yeah, what a bar.
Yeah. And then when he released it, it was like it was missing a verse, and it was like, what are you doing? Like, that verse is like what makes it. He's like, trust us, it's going to work. And so like you put it out, and it was great. And then when the album came out, the extra verse was there, so it was like it gave
there you go, album version, single version.
Yeah.
Smart move.
And he's just an artist who, out of all of them on here, I've known for the longest time. I've probably known him 5 years. He came to when I was doing student radio.
No way. Shout out Spark Sunderland.
Yes. Sport is amazing and is still kind of the best experience I've had, despite all of the other employers I've had.
I feel that with because I went to Raw, and that's how we originally met, like through student radio, and it's just so much fun to be around young people your age whose main focus in life is just making radio and having fun on radio, and it is like the best time of your life when you're into that.
Yeah, and my thing was, it was always, I never cared about radio, which sounds horrible in hindsight.
Yeah.
When people were talking about like Chris Moyles and all these different
me neither. I got into it with, if you know the YouTubers, Dan and Phil, I got into radio when they were on Radio 1, and that was 2011. And before that, I think I only listened to like Zane Lowe once when he was playing a new Muse song. So it is funny how, you know, the way we get into it, a lot of people, myself and you included, are into radio a lot older than, you know, some people might think.
Yeah, and it was like I was always just passionate about sharing music, and Iconic was definitely probably the artist that people would most associate with my days at student radio, because I did something called Sport with the Mic, which was just a pure rip-off of Fire in the Booth. But Iconic did like the best one. Like everybody says it.
That's amazing.
He made it kind of like a classic thing that everybody wanted to get on in the Northeast, which was like great for me, obviously. But yeah, and then he kind of came to the studio with a rapper called Blitz, who is amazing as well. And Blitz was kind of really forceful about me paying more attention to teas. And that was when I kind of started paying more attention to teas, and thankfully ended up getting a job there.
Awesome.
So like it really means a lot. And like Iconic has kind of become like the rapper that has broke down doors for teas as well. For introducing he kind of got Track of the Week, and is the most shared post we've had on Facebook, and like all these things. Is like, it's amazing what he does, and the whole mental health thing as well is like, obviously that whole album is kind of about that. It's DNR is Do Not Resuscitate.
Yeah,
of course. Album that we released as a posthumous album essentially. And yeah, it's amazing. I think this song is the one that kind of capitalised on it as well.
Right, let's hear it. Iconic, Die Alone.
High and low, so I'll be the one to tie the nose. There's so much I could do. Instead I'm mixing the vodka with the iron brew. Instead I'm mixing the vodka with the iron brew. Stand and yell and be less complacent. They planted hell in these blessed locations. Demand some help on my next vacation. I could hang myself from your expectations. Stand and yell and be less complacent. Planted hell in these blessed locations. Demand some help on my next vacation. I could hang myself from your expectations. Nothing but voicemails inside my phone, trying to convince me I won't die alone. This is that shit you shouldn't try at home. I'm just hoping, I hope I don't die alone. Nothing but voicemails inside my phone.
It really stays with you, I think, like, even from one listen, it's like, this is that shit you don't try at home. Like, that stuck with me the first time I listened to it, even like, just like straight away as an impact. And I think, yeah, it just feels like he's doing something very important as well, and music can often be a way of vocalizing those feelings in a way that just conversations can't.
Yeah, and like I think it's like I've said it, but like the whole album is kind of really important. Listen, as much as like that's like one song, like the whole album kind of talks about it, and he's like one of the few artists, especially kind of in the Northeast, where there's a load of kind of single artists in the Northeast.
Yeah.
But he is very much an album artist, and like the albums that he puts together, he released another album called Sink or Swim a few years ago, and that was like really good. And then this is like the next level up, where like he obviously kind of takes the time to like create a body of work and not just like each single. And it's like, yeah, I love him.
Definitely. Absolute legend. And finally, last but definitely not least, Filth Like, who was your second last gig that you saw. This is a really fun song. The first impression I got of it, like, I love that his accent comes through in it. I love the way the music video was done as well, like walking around Newcastle, I think. Sunderland. Oh God, I'll get hung, drawn and quartered for making that mistake. Sorry guys. But yeah, like it seemed to have a lot of like humor in it, but also a lot of like heart and soul in it as well.
Yeah, Filth is like I think I've said it a couple of times now, but like a weird artist in that he's a lot older than all of these. I think all of these are kind of like in their 20s, if not maybe a little bit younger, some of them. Whereas Filth, like, he only started last year in his mid 30s. He's got a song where it's like on the wrong side of 30 to be practicing hip hop.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
But I think in a way it kind of really worked for him because he's kind of in his first year he supported Devlin on a big
No
gig.
way, that's so huge.
Got booked for loads of kind of festivals in the Northeast, got played on Six Music and all sorts of things, and like loads of people like gravitate towards him. He just kind of seemed to like put the first EP that he released just seemed to be like the perfect rollout. And the kind of the music is kind of very kind of representative of Sunderland, and a lot of people kind of love him that wouldn't normally. So that gig that I went to, usually at a gig, say like at an iconic gig, I would be able to tell you like every single person's name that was in there. But for Phil, it was like a completely different crowd, and it was really good to see. And obviously, he's kind of quite heavily inspired by the Streets.
Yeah. Hey, there's a Birmingham link. We love to hear it.
Which is why, like, I was kind of torn for the fifth one. I think the first four that I had were kind of definitely going in there, and then for the fifth one, I thought, oh, like, do I go for like a really kind of cool indie band like Fever Days or something more chill, like Mount Misery or another that type of thing? And like, instead, I thought, like, you know what? You mentioned the Streets at the end of the video you did with Abby, and I thought Filth like has to go in there. And
gotta be done.
when I was at that gig, like this song kind of it gave us goosebumps, and like I think it's just such an amazing song because it's kind of that that weekend song, like the lyrics of it, or it's a waste of a weekend, we're a waste of space. Spend a weekend drinking with mates, and it's not like anything kind of dead profound lyric or anything, but it's like it hits a spot, and it is like that important message of you're kind of wasting your time by drinking with your mates on the weekend, but also it's like probably the best times I'll ever have. And yeah, I think it's a great song. This
is it, ending on a high, and with the name of it, just like Swine Tax Relax, it's Wasteman Spaceman. I love the kind of the limerick sounding names of these songs.
And especially, like you said, his accent as well, where it goes like Wasteman Spaceman.
Love it,
great,
man.
Hot as fall on a Friday, no need for a payday. Hot as null on a Sunday. Cold breeze takes me straight through. On a craft on a Monday. Rude message blows up my phone. Counting down all the dull days. Just for the weekend to come. Wasting the weekend. Being wasted with mates. It's a waste of a weekend. We're a waste of space. Wasting the weekend. Being wasted with mates. It's a waste of a weekend. We're a waste of space.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. I love the video, and that stuck with me as well. The way like it kind of has all of his friends with his arms in the air, because that's kind of exactly what I wanted to do. When you have like him kind of doing the almost spoken word, like you say, Streets lyrics, but then you've got some really interesting sounds that you might hear in even like a beach house track or something like that. So it's a proper kind of creative, and I think a properly northern song as well, which I love.
Yeah, he moved to Manchester, and so the producer and the vocalist that features on the chorus, I think, are both from Manchester, to my knowledge. And I think he kind of really landed on his feet because Jack Candela, who does all the production, is like such an amazing producer. And there's some of his more recent songs that he's put out that are very much sort of like almost drum and bass kind of stuff, and it's like it's amazing the kind of the variety that he has. And
Lee, thank you so much for coming on and enriching my life with this incredible northeastern music. All the links for the artists will be in the description down below. If you could like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, that would really help out, and comment what music scene you want to hear next. If people want to support you, Lee, where do they need to go?
I don't have anything to support anymore, really. I don't do anything on my own. I just do socials these days. But just follow us on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, and listen to the shows, because you're doing like a lot of social media as well, aren't you, for like different BBC introducings?
Yeah, so listen to BBC Introducing in the Northeast on a Thursday night, which is nice because it differs from most of them. So
Wait,
it's Thursday 8 till
that's
10.
crazy. I didn't know you were allowed to do that. I thought it was like always like locked on a Saturday.
I think just about all of them are, except I think it's us and 3 counties that aren't.
Well, 3 counties are crazy. Well, the law unto themselves over there, whatever goes on. That's good though. We always get shafted by the football. Like we're off for the next 2 weeks because of West Bromwich Albion. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Thankfully, Newcastle will probably, and Sunderland, will probably never get the Europa League in the next however many years. So.
Wait, there's another link between Birmingham and Sunderland, or the North East. The wonderful Kevin Phillips, who was an amazing striker for Birmingham City. Also, I mean, are you into football at all, or not really?
Yeah, but I'm an Arsenal fan.
Arsenal, wow, you're just fake. You're wrong end of the country, mate. Wrong end of the country. Yeah. Oh no, thank you so much, Lee. I hope I will see you soon at a gig that somehow can happen. We're all praying for live music right now, so big love.
Yeah, thank you.